Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be learning the riff for Stevie Ray Vaughan's Mary Had a Little Lamb, which is my favorite SRV song of all time. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so as with every Stevie Ray Vaughan song, this song is going to be in the E flat tuning, which is E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, G flat, and B flat and E flat. And I'm also using the coil tap feature on my PRS SE Custom 24, and the pickup should be on the neck position as well. So the intro start off with this juicy lick. Alright, so what we're doing here is we start off with an open A. I'm just going to be referring to these strings as their original names, and I'm not going to be referring to them as A flat, E flat, the E flat string. It's just easier. So we start off with an open A, second fret, an E, a B, a D then, fourth string, again another A. Alright, so what I'm doing here is another B, B, A, G. Alright, so from the top, and then the last note, an E. So A, B, D, A, B, A, G. And we finish it off with an E. Sorry. So then we mute the last note. Right? We mute the last note, and then we get into the first chord, which is an E7, sort of, but this is how it looks. So you've got your second finger, your middle finger actually, let's call it the middle finger. You've got your middle finger on the second fret of the fourth string, your first finger on the first fret of the third string, and your pinky on the third fret of the second string. So this is what you got, and this is the rhythm. So we have to mute it like this. Then two strums again with a very abrupt muting right after we strum. So the last part is a little difficult to get into your head. Here you're very happy to just stop playing and go to the next lick, but you have to strum it just one last time. I know it was difficult for me to get used to it, but it goes like this. It doesn't stop here. It doesn't stop here. You have to go on for one more strum, maybe two. Alright, so what I'm doing that after that part where you want to stop is that. So I strum I pick the A string in an upward strum, and then a downward strum with another mute. Actually, we don't mute it this time. Alright? So there are two strums that we actually don't mute. Alright, so now that the last part is done, we get to the another lick which is very similar. Very similar, the same idea basically. We start off with the A string and on a hammer-on to the second fret of the A string. two more pickings on the same fret. A again, G, B. Alright, so the chord is the same chord. What is different is that the last part that we had to sort of get used to in the last bits, we're not going to do that anymore in this part. Instead, we're going to be doing this. No. Alright? So, we don't do the last part. We don't do this part, the last two strums that I did. Instead, we're just going to be jumping to the next lick, which is... Alright, so I'm starting off on the second fret of the A string, hammer on to 4th fret. Then I'm going to go to the D string, 2nd fret, 3 picks, another 2 on the 5th string this time, not on the 4th. 1 pick, and the rest are hammer-ons and pull-offs. So hammer-on from 2 to 3, hammer-on and pull-off from 2 to 3 and then back to 2, and then another pull-off from 2 to 0, or the open G string. And then what's the little difficult part here is that you have to strum upwards to the A string, which is the segue into the next chord, which is an A7. Pretty simple. You just put your finger on the, you make a bar chord on the 2nd fret, so your average A major chord, but then just add the 7, the dominant 7 here. On the 3rd fret, you just add a G, and it sounds like this. Alright, it doesn't have the last part either. This chord also doesn't have the last. The last one, it doesn't have this either. So this time we do have it. So after the A7 chord, we get to the exact same riff as the intro, which starts like this. So we do the exact same thing we did in the first little section, and then after that, so a hammer on from 0 to 2 on the A string, and 2 more strikes on the 2nd string, on the 2nd fret. And you hit all the notes this time, no hammer-ons and pull-offs. 0, 1, 2. Then you get to a B7 chord shape, but you don't have to strum the higher notes here. Not like this, right? Right, so you have to stop sort of mid-playing to do this. Then after that, so what's happening here, it's a little difficult, this part, in the sense that you have to be bending 2 strings at the same time. I miss it sometimes. So what you're doing is you're putting your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the B string, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, and you're strumming them at the same time. So after this, the open E, and D on the second string, B again on the second string. So E, D, B. Second, you put your second finger on the third string. From 2 to 4, you do a slide, and then your first finger on the third fret of the second string. Now, what Stevie Ray Vaughan does himself is that he pauses for just a little bit instead of doing this. He does this. He actually plucks the E string as well. It's sort of like an upward strum for all these three high notes, high strings. Alright, but it's a little difficult, so I just stick with this one. I'm used to this one just because it was a little bit simpler than what Stevie Ray Vaughan does. So basically, he does this, but I do it like this. It's a little easier. Alright, so instead of doing this, right, I just don't pluck the E string. And the last bit, it's pretty common in his songs, also in Scuttlebutting. So a pull off from second fret of the G string, then you pluck all the notes on the fourth string, 2, 0, 2. So from 2 to 0 on the third string, 2, 0, 2 on D string. All right, that was basically the intro. So let's have a little bit of a refresher. We started off with this one. Then you sort of do a little rest. Then you do it again. This time it's pretty much identical to the first intro that we did. There's just one minor difference, and you'll hear it now. So this is the second run of the intro with this minor difference. So instead of doing this, I'm doing this. Instead of doing this, I'm doing this, which is a lot shorter. That means there has to be a little bit of a modification to the chord that precedes this. So instead of doing this, I'm doing this. I'm adding that annoying part of the first one. All right, so putting all of those together, the first intro and the second intro together, they should sound like this. I added a little bit of a modification to a couple of the chords. In the first to last part that you play, the E7, before doing the E7 preceding this little bit, it becomes like this in the second run of the intro. So it's an the number of the strings that you need to pluck once you let the last strum ring. And after that, we have this. So we got a 1, 2, 3 again. So we're not just playing the lower strings this time, we're playing everything. And this time you can actually mute your strumming before you do that. Right, and then the usual. Alright, so that was the intro riff. Now, in the verses, there are, it's much simpler this time. And the verses go like this. It's just chords, there are no licks in between. It's like this. So, Mary had a little lamb. His face was white as snow, yeah. Everywhere a child went, the little lamb was sure to go there. He followed her to school one day, and broke the teacher's rule. What a time that they had that day at school. Alright, so sorry for the little hiccup there. But essentially what you're looking, because I'm not very proficient in singing and playing at the same time, I'm still not there yet. That was my pick. Anyway, so this is the chords that you need to be playing. 2 bars of the A7. And the start is like this. This is the A note, muted sort of, and then a second fret on the D, which is a part of the A7 chord. Anyway. Alright, 2 A7s, 2 E7s, 1 B7, 1 A7, and 1 E7 again. So, A7, E7, B7, A7, E7. And then a little bit of a pause before repeating it again for the next part of the verse, and then after that, the rest, after the second rest of the second run of this verse part, we have the solo, which I'll be doing in a separate video. So basically that was the chord portion of Mary Had a Little Lamb. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want me to do the solo video, please leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Cheers.